noisy here. They're building a rec center down the street, and I can't concentrate. But once it's done, it's gonna be so cool. It's gonna have a big pool, and a basketball court, and a... They sure are using big, loud machines. It made me wonder the same thing Owen is wondering.
How could they build those huge pyramids without using any machines?
I don't know, Owen. It must have been really hard to build the pyramids without them. But by the end of the show, I'll find out how they did it. The Great Pyramids of Giza are humongous. If they didn't have big construction machines 4,000 years ago, they must have had something. Maybe finding out how we'd build pyramids today with big machines will help me find the answer.
Hey, Zoe, you made it.
Hey, Andy, I found out it took ancient Egyptians 20 years to build their biggest pyramids. How much faster do you think it could be done with the machines like the ones here?
I'm not quite sure, Zoe, but it would take a lot less time and fewer people with machines like this. This is a Backo. This is a great machine. You want to try it?
Yeah!
Great. Okay, Zoe, so this is the key to start it. Start the motor. This here is your steering wheel.
There are lots of controls for Andy to show me in the Backo. Okay, so forward, and then reverse.
This over here, if you pull back, lifts the bucket.
They're not hard to understand, but mastering them is another story.
Just turn the key.
Yeah? Okay.
So now, to move, you want to raise the bucket a little bit because it's on the ground. A little bit more. Good. That's good. Now we want to go in forward. You press on the brake pedal. There's a little bit of gas.
Wow, I'm actually driving a Backo.
Okay. Okay, stop there. Use your brakes. Good. Now put your bucket down. Push down. Now drive ahead a little bit.
I gotta try to get under it.
Okay, now start curling your bucket up off the gas.
And scoop it up.
Curl your bucket up. Now go forward a bit more.
Careful.
Now curl your bucket all the way up. Off the gas, off the gas. Good girl. Bring it up. Back her up. You did it. Picked up the rock.
This makes it a lot easier than doing it all by hand like the ancient Egyptians.
It sure does. For example, this machine's arms are made up of levers that make it easy to lift something heavy. The digging bucket has teeth or wedges to help it cut into the earth.
Hey, this machine doesn't have wheels like the Backo. I got a question about that from Jana.
Why do some machines have treads instead of wheels?
Are these the treads?
Yes, I call them tracks.
How are they useful?
Well, they're much wider and longer than wheels, so it helps you move better over uneven ground.
So if this was sand in the desert, like where the pyramids are, the bulldozer would move easier than a machine on wheels?
Yeah, the weight of the machine is spread over a larger area. So in sandy or muddy ground, it won't sink. They can push really heavy objects too.
All right, let's try it. Turn it on. Pile of dirt, here I come.
Bucket up a bit.
Lifting the bucket.
Good. There you go, good. Keep going.
Nothing can stop me.
Good, keep going. Good job. That's how the dozer works.
Next question.
What makes the arms on big machines move?
To make these arms move, it requires a hydraulic pump. The engine pumps hydraulic oil through small parts called pistons. And that is what makes the arm and bucket move. The hydraulic system uses liquid, like water or oil, to make things move.
The ancient Egyptians didn't have those things, but they did have water. They could have used the water to help them build the pyramids.
It's possible. Water can create a lot of pressure, which could be used as energy. When you push on the plunger on this large syringe, you can see how the plunger on the small one moves up, even more than the amount you move the large plunger. That's what the pistons in the Backo do, but they use oil instead of water.
Cool.
It's like when water shoots out of a syringe, but water's hard to squeeze. It moves through the wide end of the syringe and into the narrow end. The water has to go through a tiny opening, so it moves faster and shoots out. That's basically how hydraulic pumps work in a Backo.
Do try this at home. You can try this with a spray bottle. Just make the hole big. See? It shoots out a soft spray. If you make the spray hole smaller, it shoots out harder and faster, because you're forcing it through a small opening. When you press down hard on the trigger, it's like you're the motor in the Backo. giving the hydraulic pump all its power to move the machine's arms. A squirt toy is the same thing. The water is pushed through a small opening when you push the plunger.
Huh.
This is one of the coolest machines here. It's called an excavator, and it's used to dig really deep into the ground and move big piles of earth. It can spin 360 degrees, and it gives me an idea for... my great challenge! Okay, Johnny and Sadie, are you ready to climb into this mighty machine and get to work? Yeah! Each of you have to move a pile of earth from one place to another. The earth you move has to be as high as you can make it. For each 10 centimeters, you get a point. Then pick up a basketball with your excavator bucket, and that's an extra 5 points. The excavator spins all the way around, so if you get dizzy, don't throw up in there. Just kidding. Okay, ready? Let's do it. Johnny and Sadie each have 3 minutes.
Get set, go. Go. Curl your bucket. Good. Stop right there. Good.
Look at that bucket of earth.
Good job.
Wow.
Swing over this way, nice and slow. Good, right there. And dump your bucket. There you go. Good job.
That's a nice one.
Nice, eh?
Johnny's a natural.
Good. Good job.
Looks like Sadie's a natural too. Oh yeah.
Good. Nice job. Good. Good job.
Wow. Sadie sure is focused.
Wow, good job. Oh yeah, that's gonna be a nice big pile. Good job. That one's gonna be hard to beat.
Both piles are identical. Challengers are neck and neck. 15 seconds left.
Hurry up, get it over there. Dump your bucket. Quick, quick, quick. Nice and quick, all the way. Good job.
Time's up.
It was fun. I feel like I did a pretty good job.
I think it would be fun if someone did this for a job.
Johnny's pile is 121 centimeters for 12 points. Sadie's pile is 133 centimeters for 13 points. Sadie's ahead. Now for the basketball challenge. Challengers have to scoop up the basketball and dump it on their pile. First one to do it gets 5 points.
Okay, let's go. Curl the bucket a bit. Boom, up. Oh.
Oh, Sadie almost had it.
Boom up a bit. Oh.
That was close.
We'll try again. Now stick in nice and fast. Maybe we'll get it. Curl.
Oh, it's right on the edge.
Oh, good try, good try.
Too bad.
Hey, scoop it up.
Looking good for Johnny.
Scoop quick. All right, good, you got the ball.
He's got it.
Okay, dump your bucket. Yeah!
He's a pro. So, to recap, Johnny got 12 points for his pile and 5 points for the basketball, and Sadie got 13 points for her pile. The winner is Johnny! Yeah! Good job. Don't you just love the power of hydraulics? No! Ask a friend. Hey guys, what kind of big machine would you want to drive?
Excavator, because I would be able to dig big holes.
A wrecking ball because I like breaking stuff. A recycling truck because I know I'm helping save the environment.
I would like to drive a bulldozer because you could break down a building with a flick of a handle.
I would like to control big cranes because I like heights.
I like to drive a tow truck because my dad works for a tow truck company and I want to help people.
Monster truck because I do not need to wait in traffic. I'm allowed to crush cars and keep on rolling.
And speaking of big machines, here's a question from Lex.
What's the biggest machine in the world?
I checked, and there are some gigantic machines out there. The world's biggest bulldozer weighs just over 152,000 kilograms. That's about the weight of 11 bulldozers, just like the one I drove. Then there's something called a crawler transporter that NASA uses to move spaceships. It weighs almost 3 million kilograms. That's more than 200 bulldozers. Wait, there's something bigger and heavier than 3 million kilograms? You're gonna make my head explode! Check this out. I found out the world's biggest land machine is an excavator they use for mining. It's 95 meters tall, 215 meters long, and weighs over 40 million kilograms. That's the weight of about 3,000 bulldozers. It must take a lot of energy to move it. Here's a question about that from Adriana.
Instead of gas, why can't we use electricity for big machines?
I found out that sometimes big machines do use electricity. We see lots of electric cars on the road today, but not many electric construction machines. But that's changing now. Using electricity to power construction machines makes less pollution. And now, there are some that use fuel and electricity. They're called hybrid machines. Some are now totally electric. In the future, we'll probably have more and more electric construction machines. Speaking of which, my friends made their own electric motor. The experiment! Hi, Lex and Logan.
Hi, Zoe.
So what stuff do you need to build your motor?
Well, we need a battery, a magnet, and some copper wire.
We also need a highlighter and some pliers to help us shape the wire.
Go for it.
The top of the cable has to touch the middle of the battery, and the bottom has to touch the magnet. So now I'm taking the magnet and putting it at the bottom of the battery.
What's next?
I took the pliers to bend the copper wire, and then the copper wire is now bent so that it can touch the top of the battery. The other end of the wire is around the magnet.
We're ready.
Get ready to be amazed, Zoe.
I'm ready. Wow, very cool. You can even make different shapes with the wire. Amazing. The electricity flows from the battery through the wire. That creates a magnetic field. When that connects to the magnet, there are two magnetic fields working together. The magnet makes the electricity change direction, which makes the wire spin. Thanks, Logan and Lex. Bye.
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 When they built the pyramids in ancient Egypt, they didn't have big machines or electricity, so I still haven't answered Owen's question yet. But Maddie has an interesting idea.
Did aliens help build the pyramids?
Flat Earth Corner!
Greetings, Earthlings. I am Zebo10 from planet Zoe-Dopolis. Knock, knock. Who's there? I dare. I dare who? I dare you to build a pyramid without our help. The citizens of my planet built your pyramids on a weekend. We were bored. More!
We wanted to make a giant toy on tiny planet Earth.
We need no such thing as machines, but please send more of that strange round food called pizza. So good. Yum, yum, yum.
Some people actually believe aliens built the pyramids because they don't think ancient Egyptians could have possibly done it 4,000 years ago. But can the answer really be aliens? I think I know who can answer this. She can build all kind of things. Oh my gosh, look at those wings. Please welcome science teacher Megan Mueller. Wow, those are amazing. Did you build them yourself?
Yes, I did. I wanted to make a really cool costume, so I used my engineering skills to build these wings. Do you want to see how they work?
Of course.
Go for it.
Okay. That's so cool. How does it do that?
It's pretty simple, actually. This bar pushes and pulls these cables, which makes the wings open and close.
Wow. When you came in here with the wings on, you looked like an alien. Maddie wanted to know if aliens helped build the pyramids in ancient Egypt.
Well, we don't know that aliens actually exist. So I don't think the aliens built the pyramids. In fact, nobody really knows how they built the pyramids. Scientists have many ideas, but we can't prove them. However, we do know that the big cathedrals and the big castles were built using simple machines.
What are simple machines?
Simple machines are things that we humans can use to lift and move objects without putting in a lot of effort.
Cool.
Like this lever here. I can lift this using my own force, and I don't have to break a sweat. You try.
Sure. Oh yeah, it is really easy. Oh, the big machines I use today, like the Backo, had levers.
Well, big machines are composed of lots of simple machines, but they have a motor with it.
What does this have to do with simple machines? I mean, I love seesaws.
Well, actually, it is a simple machine. You see this board? This is a lever, and it rotates around the turning point or the fulcrum. A lever multiplies the force that I apply to it, which makes lifting you on this much easier.
Yeah. More!
The bicycle has a wheel and axle, which are also a simple machine. The axle passes through the center of the wheel, and it holds the wheel to the bike while allowing the wheel to turn.
But they hadn't invented wheels back in ancient Egypt.
No, but they had a trick. Ancient Egyptians might have used logs just to move stones like that.
Wow, that's super smart.
Here is another simple machine called the inclined plane. Try it.
Sure.
We use inclined planes to help us move objects from a low spot to a high spot so that we don't actually have to lift them.
Yeah, it was a lot easier than lifting it up the stairs. Hey, maybe ancient Egyptians used this to help them move huge stones.
Maybe. This is another simple machine. We call it a screw. It's basically an inclined plane that's wrapped around a cylinder. It allows us to move something up and down without taking up a lot of horizontal space. And we can also use it to hold things together, like the bottle and the cap.
Cool.
Another simple machine is this, an axe.
Whoa. Be careful.
Don't worry, it's rubber.
Oh.
And a wedge is used to cut open things, like this.
Wow, the Backo I used had teeth, and it dug into the ground, kind of like a wedge.
Yeah, that would do it. This is our last simple machine. Try it.
You just pull it?
Yeah, actually, I think that's why it's called a pulley. A pulley allows us to lift heavy objects without putting in so much effort.
Oh yeah, it is a lot easier than doing it by hand.
You know what makes it even easier?
What?
Adding a second pulley.
Oh wow, this is a lot easier.
If you could add more and more pulleys, eventually you could lift it with just your little finger.
Really?
Did you know that construction cranes also use pulleys?
I got a question about that from Sharon.
Why don't those big cranes follow me? Ow.
Let's take a look at this model crane. If I were to pull on this, it will just fall over.
Yeah.
So I need to put some counterweights. I put one on the bottom, and you put one right here. Now you try.
Hey, it's not falling.
Yeah. Did you know that the crane got its name from the bird?
Oh yeah, because it's so tall.
Exactly. Speaking of birds, I've got to fly. Bye, Zoe.
Bye. Wow, that was so cool. And I think I finally know the answer to Owen's big question.
How could they build those huge pyramids without using any machines?
The big answer is... with simple machines. If we were building pyramids today, we'd use powerful big machines like bulldozers and excavators. They'd make it a lot faster. It would take a lot less people to do the job too. But experts and scientists think the Egyptians used simple machines like levers, inclined planes, and wedges to help them build the massive pyramids. Simple machines have been around almost forever, so it makes sense the Egyptians would have used them. But because simple machines don't have motors or electricity, it took the Egyptians a really long time to build the pyramids. We done! We're done! I also found out that the big machines we use today are made up of a bunch of simple machines. And guess what? Even our bodies are like simple machines.
Machine, machine, my body's a machine. Simple machines make my body run so clean. My knee is a pulley, it helps me run. My teeth are the wedges that chop off this burger bun. My elbow's a lever. machines. My body has a few. You might even say this twisty hair is like a screw. Machine, machine, my body's a machine. Machine, machine, machine. I'm a machine.
Wow, the construction of the rec center is really coming along.
I, Zebo 10, could build that faster than you can say knock knock. Meet me. See you next time for more finding stuff out.
Hi, welcome to Finding Stuff Out, the show where I answer questions like,
When I build a tall castle, why does it fall down?
I'm testing it out for you, Zachary. And so far, so good. Just have to put the last piece on and... Almost had it. Well, Zachary, I guess I don't know why castles fall down when you build them tall, but by the end of the show, I'll find out, because thanks to your question, I'm building today's episode around structures, things like skyscrapers, bridges, tunnels, and houses. And here's a question from Emily.
Who made the first structure?
Well, Emily, the answer isn't what I expected, because the first structures on Earth were not made by humans. And no, I don't mean it was built by aliens from another planet. I don't even know if they exist yet or not. Anyway, doesn't mean the answer isn't amazing. Watch this. Animals made the very first structures. Bees were making hives, and ants were making tunnels in the ground when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Birds have been building nests, and beavers have been building dams for millions of years. So humans were not the first creatures to build structures. But it didn't take us long to catch on, which brings me to a question from Matthew.
Why do people build houses?
I made this cartoon to show why I think we do it. Check this out. Once upon a time, people didn't have houses to live in. Then our ancestors built simple structures like this lean-to. It protected them from the rain.
Gronk nice and dry. Oh, Gronk getting toasty.
Shelters also provided shade when it got really hot out.
Oh, Gronk pretty smart.
Houses also protect us from the cold. Houses also kept our ancestors safe from animals that wanted to eat them.
Uh-oh.
Here's another question about structures from Alexander.
Why do we use bricks or wood to make houses?
To answer your question, Alexander, please welcome my special guest, Dr. Effie Boraz. Hi, Effie. Welcome to my show.
Hi, Harrison. I brought you something.
A hard hat?
I'm going to put you to work.
Work? Huh. So Alexander wants to know, why do people use bricks or wood for building houses?
Well, that's a great question. 'Cause historically, people would build with whatever materials they had around them. So if we had a lot of clay, then we would make bricks. And if we have a lot of wood, then we'd utilize wood. However, one material is more durable than the other. So to demonstrate this, I brought us some brick and wood.
Okay. They were the same size and weight before, but Effie soaked one of each in water.
I'm going to ask you to weigh the dry wood first.
Dry wood first. 354 grams.
And now the wood that's been in the water.
Wow, it weighs 515 grams. That's almost like adding another half piece of wood.
So now let's try the dry brick.
Oh, it's heavy. 1.97 kilograms.
And the wet brick?
Oh, it weighs 2.047 kilograms. The wet brick only weighs a tiny bit more than the dry brick.
So what can we conclude from this?
We shouldn't drink water that's been soaking in wood and bricks for 2 weeks.
Well, other than that.
That we should use bricks because the wet wood's gonna end up rotting, right?
Right, because it's more porous, so it actually seeps up water.
So modern houses usually use brick because bricks don't soak up water and eventually rot. But if you want to build something really big, you need something else, steel.
So that's why you use steel for skyscrapers.
Absolutely.
Effie told me that skyscrapers are made of steel because compared to wood and brick, steel is stronger and more flexible. A skyscraper needs that because it can get windy up there.
I'm gonna have you test that out right now.
Wood versus steel. Let's see what happens when I jump on them.
So let's try the steel first.
So I just jump on this.
It holds, but can I really jump on it?
Oh, it's a bit like a trampoline.
Right.
Imagine, I'm like the wind pushing on it.
Let's try the wood.
Okay. Oh. It broke.
Right. Unlike the steel that isn't as strong, so it broke under pressure.
Right. So does that mean wood is not as good of a material as steel or bricks?
Well, they all have their plus and minuses, and you can try that out now. So we're gonna build a tree fort.
Awesome.
I'd like you to saw this piece of wood in half.
Okay, I guess I should put my safety gloves on first.
Absolutely. I'll help by holding this.
Thanks.
Perfect.
Well, that wasn't too hard.
Nope. Now I'd like you to nail the two pieces together.
Okay. There we go.
Excellent. So now I'd like you to try sawing this in half.
What is this, steel?
Yep.
Awesome. Never mind a wooden treehouse. I can make a metal tree fortress with this. Is there a trick to this?
No.
I guess my dreams of a tree fortress are over.
Well, you can still build a wooden one.
Really?
Yeah, that's why wood is so popular with smaller buildings, because you can use simple tools to build.
And wood is still strong enough for a structure that isn't super tall, like a house.
Absolutely.
Will you come back later in the show to help me with my great challenge?
Sure will.
Great. Have you ever built a treehouse? I thought mine was going to be great, but wait till you see this treehouse. Every kid's dream is an awesome treehouse. So look up, way up. When I said treehouse, I meant treehouse. Now, this treehouse was not made by an ordinary kid. In fact, it was made by a big kid, someone named Tom Chudley, who's a designer and builder.
Hello there. Come on up here, Izzy.
Sure. Oh, it's high up. Whoa, this is awesome. I'm in a sphere in a tree. Whoa.
So, have you ever been in a ball before?
I haven't. This is really cool. So why do you make tree houses?
Well, you see, I think people should spend a lot more time in the trees. I think if people spent more time out here, they'd probably have more love for the forest and protect it better than they do.
Tom gets his ideas for how to build his tree houses from the forest.
And a lot of it's mimicking nature's way of doing things, like nature uses a nutshell because it's a hard shell and it can take a knock. And then you hang nutshells from a spider web of rope that's nice and stretchy, and the spider's web still lets the trees move around.
Awesome.
It's using nature's ideas, kind of.
How do these tree houses stay up in the air?
These are the ropes that hold the sphere up.
Right?
And up there you can see where one of the tethers, the suspension elements, attached to the trees. Tension in the suspension ropes is what holds it up.
Tension. I really need some clarification on this tension thing.
Well, I've got a little model here. This is a model of a sphere hanging in the trees. When we put weight on this sphere, the elastics get a little longer. The elastics are in tension. Tension is a force that tends to stretch things.
So I can hang on these and they're fine, right? Because
And
of
you
all
put
the
tension on the rope and it lifts you up off the ground.
Cool. So I see you have some guest books here. Does that mean people stay in these things?
Yeah, we rent these out to overnight guests. In fact, we get guests from all over the world, and a lot of them leave great comments in the guest books.
Well, thanks for showing me around your tree houses, and thanks for being on my show.
Oh, it's been a ball. Thanks.
There's something else besides tension that keeps structures standing. It's called compression. See the arches on this building? You see them a lot in castles. The stones at the top press against each other, making the building stronger. All this talk about tension and compression gives me an idea for a song. Tension, compression, they help make structures strong. So buildings can be very tall and bridges very long. Compression means you're pushing and something's pushing back. Tension means you're pulling till there isn't any slack. Yes, tension, compression, they're what makes structures strong. So buildings can climb very high and bridges very long. Now you can find out for yourself what compression feels like. Uh-oh, do try this at home. Okay, ready? This is how you can make an arch. And Jessica, Sophia, Massimo, and Kevin are going to show you how to do it. If you have a family member that's not too much shorter or taller than you, grab them because you can do this too. We're going to start off by taking their palms of their hands and putting them together. And then they're gonna make a big arch. And they're gonna start to move their feet back like Kevin's doing right there. And there we go. This is actually compression, so if I push down, oh, that's pretty strong right there. Ugh. Whew. And let's see how this one is. Oh, that's pretty good too. Oh. If you're alone at home, you can try this too by doing it against the wall. Thanks guys for helping out. You guys held up well under pressure. And here's another question.
How do spiders make webs?
Well, a spider web is a very strong structure. Spiders spin webs with the silk they make in their own body. It's amazing. The entire spider web is under tension. Tension happens when, instead of things pushing together, they pull in opposite directions. When the spider attaches its web to branches like this, the web is stretched between the two. That's tension. Just like the cables that hold Tom's treehouse to the trees. Now here's a question from Mateo.
How do bridges hold up?
When we cross a bridge, it's usually high up in the air, so bridges have to be strong because you wouldn't want to fall into whatever's underneath it, especially if it's like what's lurking in. My Great Challenge! I say especially, because today on My Great Challenge, we have an especially scary challenge. Our challengers are going to have to build a bridge, but not any bridge over any old obstacle. It's a bridge over Dinosaur Valley. Today, I have two sets of challengers. Team number 1 is Massimo and Kevin, and team number 2 is Sophia and Jessica. Are you guys nervous to cross Dinosaur Valley?
No.
Well, that's good, because right now, we just have a boardwalk, which hopefully you guys can turn into a bridge. We're gonna need to suspend it in the air with something like a tower. What is the best material to make a tower out of?
Well, I would make it out of either concrete or steel trusses.
What is a truss?
Well, a truss is simply a beam made out of triangles.
Oh, well, I think we have an even better material today. Noodles and marshmallows. Well, better tasting, at least. So you have to make sure that your bridge is strong enough to hold up this Jeep full of paleontologists. The first one to build it successfully will be the winner. Are all of you ready?
Yeah!
Okay, and go. Both teams are starting to build the towers that will hold up their bridges. Team 2 has put the noodle through the marshmallow. Team 1 seems to be building the base of their tower. Good thing there's a lot of noodles. Team 2 is having a hard time getting the marshmallows to stand. We have some very complex engineering going on here with Jessica and Sophia. The materials are fragile. The trick will be finding the right shapes to make their structures strong. It looks like they're making like a tent right now.
Right, that might work. But remember, it has to fit the dinosaur underneath it, guys. Still a little short.
Oh, yes.
Team number 2 is having a little bit trouble of keeping their poles up right now.
Right. We have a stability issue.
Yeah.
And over there, it looks like we're making a,
triangle. Maybe they're taking note of what you said about
They
the
are.
trusses, you know?
Right, absolutely, because the triangle is the strongest structure.
Team number 2 is adding more support.
Yes.
They're starting to do the triangle things. And
Right, so these triangles actually help this stay put. Remember, guys, that Jeep needs to
the Jeep
be
needs
stable.
No, it doesn't.
Team number 2 is looking ahead right now.
Looking pretty good, girls.
See, snap marshmallow.
Oh, we have a problem with team number 1.
How many more are you gonna snap? I don't know. You already snapped 3 and I snapped 2.
Arguments between engineers. It happens.
Team 2 is ready to test their bridge. But is it high enough to go over the dinosaur?
We're done.
You're done? Let's see. Will the paleontologists make it? I think it's good.
And they did.
Team number 2's our winner. Congratulations, team number 2. What do you think they did right with their structure?
Well, I'm really impressed by this. What they did is they utilized the strength of a triangle, and they did it multiple times.
So what was your strategy? Did you know you were going to do this right away, or did you kind of come up with it while you were building? Or?
We came up with it while we were building.
Wow.
So now the paleontologists are not gonna get eaten.
Yeah, the paleontologists are safe. Thanks for playing my great challenge, but both teams win a nice meal of noodles with marshmallow sauce. Everybody has a dream structure. If you could build any structure, what would it look like?
It would be a square blue yacht with my face on it.
A tree house that has like spy equipment.
I would want a big black hole that nobody knows, and there's gonna be like a whole bunch of milkshakes there.
I'd have this big movie set that I could have a bunch of people doing a movie about me.
I would build this humongous transparent glass tube that leads to the moon. I can go to the moon whenever I want.
I'd build a nice, simple, cozy house just for me and my dog, but on Saturn, on the ring.
So it would be spinning around, right?
Yep, that's the most fun part.
Well, there you have it. Now we just have to find out how to build them.
Easy peasy.
Why do people don't live in the Tower of Pisa?
The Flat Earth Corner! Why don't people live in the Leaning Tower of Pisa? Because they don't know what they're missing. That's why. What a change from boring places with level floors. You'll always find your marbles in my tower. And if you buy now, I have a nice little unit on the top floor that I'm selling for 20% off. Did I say 20% off? I meant 50% off. And I'll include a parachute for every member of your family. What are you waiting for? It's perfectly safe. Or my name isn't Viotta Salvi, the 12th century architect. Uh-oh, I mean, what was that, Mama? Yes, Mama, I'm coming. Her Venetian blinds are stuck again. Actually, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was built as a bell tower, so it would have been very loud to live there anyway, if you could. But even if it had been meant to be lived in, you couldn't. Its foundation wasn't deep enough to keep it standing up straight. The foundation is the part of the building that's under the ground. And the ground there is also soft. So not long after they built it, almost 900 years ago, it started to shift. It took the people who designed buildings hundreds of years to learn how to make safe structures, especially really tall ones. That's why today, when we build skyscrapers, we dig very deep foundations to anchor them into the ground, so they can climb safely into the sky. Not like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And that brings me back to the question that laid the foundation for today's show.
When I build a tall castle, why does it fall down?
Well, Zachary, the big answer is... gravity. Gravity is what keeps us from being flung into outer space. So if I throw my drumstick into the air, it comes back down. Thanks, gravity. But the downside of gravity is that anything heavier than the air around us, like a castle, will fall down unless it's built with a lot of support. After many years, wind and rain and heat and freezing cold can weaken real castles and other buildings. So if we don't repair them, they might fall down. case of a castle like this, it also has to do with something called the center of gravity. Remember when I asked you to try this at home? Your center of gravity is where most of your weight is, in a position where you're most stable. But if you shift your weight away from the center of gravity, you, or a structure like a castle, or the Leaning Tower of Pisa, will become unstable. And I'm getting Pisa'd! Of course, Zachary. In real buildings, they dig foundations and cement, nail, or weld materials together. That makes buildings really solid. Our homemade castles don't have that, so we have to be extra careful with the center of gravity. Now that I know what a center of gravity is, I can keep my containers in the center, so gravity won't knock my castle down. See? Yes! Ta-da! Oh well. I guess practice makes perfect. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. I wonder if my neighbors have a beaver that I can borrow. Hi, and welcome to Finding Stuff Out. I've been thinking about this globe lately because of a question from Kobe.
Why is the world so important?
Yeah, why is the world so important? Couldn't we and all the other creatures on Earth just get in a spaceship and go to another planet? Or a space station? Or something? I don't know if the Earth is really important, but by the end of the episode, I'll find out. Here's a question from Marion.
Why do polar bears don't live here?
Before I answer your question, Marion, I did some research, and here's a song that kind of sums it all up.
Habitat, that's where creatures living at. Some in the water, some in the trees, some in the desert, some in your cheese. Food and water, shelter, space, that's what you need to live in a place. Yeah, food and water, shelter, space, that's what you need to live in a place.
Habitat. A creature's living at a habitat. A creature's living at a habitat. And many other things, a habitat.
Well, Marion, I guess you don't live in northern Ontario, or other northern parts of Canada, or Russia, or Norway, or Alaska, or Greenland, because polar bears definitely live there. But I checked, and if brown bears live near you, then you could say the polar bear's cousins live near you. That's because polar bears and brown bears share a common ancestor. Just like if you have a cousin, you and your cousins have the same grandparents. A really long time ago, polar bears' ancestors left the south, like where you live, Marion. Then, as they moved to the north, they adapted to the Arctic habitat. The Arctic is very cold and has a lot of ice and water, so polar bears have a lot of body fat and heavy fur coats to keep them warm. They also have big feet, like paddles, to help them get around in the water and on the ice. Their fur is transparent. That means it's clear, so that they can blend in with the snow and ice and sneak up on their favorite food, seals. In the cities and towns where most of us live, our habitat, polar bears wouldn't be able to find the things they need to live.
Please, anyone, where's a good seal restaurant?
Plus, it's too warm.
Ooh, lucky me!
Why can't penguins fly?
Well, Serena, for starters, a polar bear lives up here in the northern hemisphere. So if a penguin lived up here, he would have to learn to fly, or he'd be eaten by the polar bears. You look really tasty there, Mr. Penguin. But luckily for Mr. Penguin, he lives down here in the southern hemisphere.
You can't get me now!
Oh! Penguins can't fly because they're too heavy. But in their habitat, that's actually an advantage. Their body fat protects them from the cold, and their bones are solid instead of hollow, which helps them stay underwater. Their wings act like giant flippers to help them swim fast so they can sneak up on their favorite food, fish. Now here's a question from Aiden.
How many habitats are in the world?
How many habitats are in the world? Let's see, there's mountains, marshes, tidal pools, deserts, prairies, rainforests, and that's just some of them. There's even this grilled cheese sandwich, which I found in my drawer, and there's definitely something living on that. Hundreds of thousands of plants, 8 million species of animals, 7 continents, thousands of islands, air, water, land, head getting warm, brain overloading! You're gonna make my head explode! To answer your question, Aiden, I've come to this special place by the ocean, full of amazing creatures. And to help show me around is my special guest, Allison Roberts, who's a biologist and naturalist. So, Allie, today I'm trying to find the answer to the mind-boggling question, how many habitats are there? But first, what is a habitat?
Well, a habitat is basically anything a creature needs to survive. So it's the shelter, the space, the water. It can be tiny, like you'd need a microscope to see it. Or it can be gigantic, like the whole entire planet could be one habitat.
Whoa.
But you know what, today let's talk about kind of in between.
Okay.
Let's talk about the intertidal zone.
Intertidal zone? What's that?
Well, we're standing right in the middle of it.
Whoa.
Inter means between, and tidal, between the tides.
Right.
So you need a place that's between the high tide, which would be way up there, and the lowest tide, way down there.
How many creatures are living here?
Well, there's tons of creatures living here, but they have to be pretty special creatures to survive.
A sand dollar. Too bad I can't spend it. Mmm, seaweed. People eat this stuff all the time. Mmm.
Check out all these hermit crabs.
Whoa, there's tons. Oh, and look at the little small ones.
Hermit crabs are pretty weird because they have a really soft shell, and so they have to find another shell to give them a home. Like this is a snail, but when that snail dies and the shell is left on the beach, another animal, the hermit crab, will move in. In the tide pool, even fish can survive.
Oh, weird.
But check out what this fish hides in.
Whoa, it's the same color as the seaweed.
Yeah, look at how many creatures there are in this tiny little space.
Yeah.
Millions of creatures in the intertidal zone.
Allison brought me to a habitat right next to the intertidal zone, the forest. So this habitat has everything that other animals need to survive, right?
Again, the forest is filled with millions of creatures that this is perfect habitat for.
So like these leaves or the twigs or the dirt or the trees or anything in this forest could be a habitat for a creature or an animal, right?
Yeah, everything's a habitat, but then all combined, it's also one habitat.
So it's like a habitat inside of a habitat, inside of a bigger habitat, inside of a bigger habitat, inside of a bigger habitat. Okay, I'm gonna stop before my head explodes here. Whoa, look at the shell. I should take it home.
Oh, but you have to remember, that shell is somebody's habitat.
Right, so I should leave it here.
Yeah, pretty much everywhere we go, some creatures, that's their habitat. So we have to respect each other's habitats.
And treat it like it's our own.
Exactly. Would you want somebody to pick up your house and walk away with it?
No. Well, thanks for helping me find stuff out and for showing me all these cool habitats.
No problem. Thanks for coming out and hanging out in my office.
Now I'm here with these guys to ask them if they could be any animal in any habitat, what would it be?
Fish in the ocean.
Cat in the volcano.
A shark in the ocean.
Lice in somebody's hair.
A rabbit in the forest.
A snake on a beehive.
The pterodactyl living in a tree.
Whoa! What does it look like? And I personally would be a copycat, living in a photocopier, because then I can photocopy everybody's photocopies.
That was a good one.
Some habitats can be very challenging, so today I'm making some challenging environments in My Great Challenge! Welcome to My Great Challenge. Today, my great challengers are Kaylee, Nico, Jeremy, and Alana. So you two will be Team Polar Bear and you two will be Team Zebra. Have you ever gone to the Arctic?
No.
Well, today you're going on a trip there, as well as to African savanna and an ocean tide pool. There are 5 spots for each habitat. You have to put a different animal on each spot in the habitat you think it belongs in. So you guys will have 2 minutes to complete this challenge. Team Zebra, you'll be first. Team Polar Bear, you guys can go downstairs and have some broccoli with my mom. Here are the animals that you can use. You have 2 minutes, starting now. Go!
In the African jungle,
I'm not sure. That looks like a sea monster. I think this goes here.
Tiger
It's
fell.
like a polar bear.
Does the rabbit go anywhere? The rabbit's cute.
Why is there dinosaurs here?
This
That
goes in
does-
the African jungle.
Goes.
Kangaroo goes there too. Ew, it's sticky.
Hey, is this an
Yes.
otter? Otter. Is this a wiener dog?
Yeah, I like wiener dog. Hey, this goes over there, I think. Yeah.
I'm not sure about this red
It's
fox if it goes in the Arctic.
I don't know, maybe. Sea monster. Did the bees go anywhere? They're gonna sting you. I don't know, but I
I'll just
think
put
it's
this
over
button
there.
here.
Okay, time's up. So here are your results. In the Arctic, you put 2 seals, but I asked for a different animal for each habitat. You could have put the other seal in a tide pool. They can live in both habitats. So that's 1 point gone, so you have 4 there. African savanna, there's no kangaroos there.
Silly
They live in
kangaroo.
Australia.
Yeah, in the ocean tide pool, there are no whales in the ocean tide pool. And also, there are 3 bees here because each bee can live in all these habitats.
I didn't want to put a bee. I don't like bees.
Okay, well now it's Team Polar Bear's turn. So you have 2 minutes, starting now.
No, wait. The starfish. There.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious.
Put that there.
This probably goes in the savanna.
Yep. Go. What about this?
That?
It probably goes.
No, I think. Well, yeah, probably.
Savannah.
Yes, savanna. This might go in the savanna.
No.
We have some disagreement here on one of the animals.
Savannah.
Yes. Polar bear in the Arctic.
Oh yeah, I guess I can put. What about the otter? That goes here.
Okay, whatever.
Otter with a fish in his hand.
Using some logic.
I think this goes in the savanna because when I did my presentation, he said this goes in the savanna.
Okay.
Last few seconds.
Savannah.
I think this might go in the Arctic because it's white.
5 seconds.
Put this there. Put this there.
3, 2, and time's up. So you guys had 3 wrong. Let's see how Team Polar Bear did. We have 2 right in the Arctic, but they didn't fill the other 3. The kangaroo in the savanna, same thing as Team Zebra. It's not right. And the whale in the tide pool, that's also wrong. It's too big to live in the tide pool. They also got that one wrong. So you guys have 3, 4, 5 wrong. So Team Zebra is our winner.
Yeah!
Well, thanks for playing my great challenge.
Welcome. Why don't dolphins live on land?
I checked, and what I found out is pretty amazing. At one time, dolphins, or at least their ancestors, did live on land. Some scientists think that certain fish got very ambitious and learned to adapt to a habitat that included land. They evolved legs and lungs so that they could live on land as easily as in the water. Scientists think that those creatures evolved into other creatures that like to eat meat. It made an interesting adaptation to its habitat. It discovered that hiding under the water where other animals came to drink was a good way to get a meal. While they were down there waiting, the creatures discovered something else tasty to eat there. Fish! Yum, yum. Over thousands and thousands of years, the creatures evolved to be even faster in the water, and eventually their feet turned into flippers, and some scientists think they evolved into the dolphins we know and love today. With their flippers, dolphins can't walk on land like their ancestors could, even though they still need to breathe air like we do. Excuse me, see you at the beach. Here's a question from Patrick.
Who killed the dinosaurs? A meteorite or a volcano?
Very interesting question. One day, while they were out for a walk,
Oh, this habitat is great. There's lots of room and shelter. Have you tried the vegetation?
I have. It's very delicious, and the water is good too.
Harold, is that your stomach rumbling? You really shouldn't eat so fast.
No, it was not me.
And what is that low rumbling sound? Oh, it's a volcano! Run! Run for it!
Was it a volcano or was it a meteorite? To find out the answer, I've invited a special guest. He knows about extinction events and even where the dinosaurs went. Please welcome Dr. Hans Larson. Hi, Dr. Larson. Whoa! Ferns? Patrick was wondering if volcanoes or meteorites killed the dinosaurs, and you brought ferns. This is getting pretty weird.
A little like you.
So, Dr. Larson, you're not saying that the plants killed the dinosaurs, are you?
Well, the plants didn't kill the dinosaurs directly, but something killed the plants. For some hundred thousands of years before the dinosaurs went extinct, there was a supervolcano erupting in India. Like ginormous in size, lots and lots of eruptions going on.
So I guess the volcano spewed out a ton of ash and that covered the sky, right?
Well, and this was a supervolcano, like probably covering the sky for the whole planet.
Wow.
And that may have kind of primed or got things ready for an extinction by sort of cooling down the planet, making it a little bit dimmer. But then exactly 65.5 million years ago, a meteor the size of a large city crashed into the Yucatan Peninsula, just off the shore of Mexico, made a crater 180 kilometers wide and about 80 kilometers deep.
So there's probably like smoke everywhere and everything?
Yeah, smoke, heat, earthquakes, shock waves all across the planet. And then it also lifted up everything into the sky. And so blocking out the light.
So there's no sun?
No sun.
But can't they just eat in the dark? Because the power went out at my house once and we still did that.
Yeah, but how many days?
Just for one.
Right, and so with this kind of stuff going on 65.5 million years ago, it probably lasted for many years, maybe 10,000 years of very little sunlight. So all the plants were decaying and molding and rotting. So these guys, you can throw them away.
No more plants, yeah, get rid of all the plants.
So after a few years of that, maybe even just a few weeks, all these guys, all the herbivores died, finished.
They're done.
Out.
And what about the carnivores? They could just eat each other, right?
Well, they could eat these guys too. They probably ate them for a little bit.
Right.
And after some months or maybe a couple of years of eating the carcasses, bloating, rotting carcasses of other dinosaurs, they probably fed on themselves too.
Right.
And then they went. So eventually we can put them all in the garbage.
So that's how the dinosaurs went then.
Probably.
I hope a meteor isn't coming for us.
Well, the next one's scheduled to be here in 14 million years.
14 million years, so I think we're safe.
For now.
Okay, thanks for being on my show.
My pleasure.
Thinking about dinosaur habitats gives me an idea for... Uh-oh, do try this at home. Hey everybody, how you doing? Not too hot, not too cold? Enough food, shelter, water, space? Cause it's time to play How's Your Habitat? Today, your challenge is to figure out what we humans need in our habitat to survive. So let's get right to it. Here's your first clue. If you said water, you're right. And you can reward yourself with a nice cold glass of drinking water. But don't, because if you do, you'll miss my next question. It's got you surrounded, but you can walk right through it. What is it? Are you ready? Because if you guessed air, you're right. We breathe oxygen, and unlike most fish, we get ours from the air. Okay, next question. You can't choose not to have this one in your habitat if you want to survive for long. I'd give you a bigger clue, but it's not polite to talk with your mouth full. Get it? The answer is food! This one's got my name written all over it. Next question. It's something that lets you do this. If you guessed having itchy powder in your pants, you're wrong. Although itchy powder would make you flap around like that. But nobody needs itchy powder in their habitat. If you can do what I just did without bashing into anyone, you've got space! Okay, last question. Even if you're living under a rock, you have this. And no, I don't mean 6 legs. Unless you're a beetle, then you do need them. I'm talking about Shelter! That's a roof over your head. A place that keeps the wind, rain, and snow off of you and keeps you from getting too hot or too cold. And now, here's a question from Rivian.
Why do people pollute the earth when it isn't good for the earth?
Well, Rivian, your question takes me to... the Flat Earth Corner! Step right up, folks. Take everything you need. Why, this world is so big, we can't possibly use everything up. And don't worry about the forest. There's so much land out there, the animals can find someplace else to live. Chocolate! Bye, bye, bye! Bye-bye. For most of the time people have been on Earth, we thought there were no limits. We thought we could take as much as we wanted from the Earth and just throw things away. In the past, there weren't nearly as many people as there are now, so we could get away with it. We kind of polluted the Earth because it was easier than not polluting it. Sort of like the way it's easier to not clean your bedroom until you can't find anything you're looking for. Before, we didn't know any better, but now we realize that we can't keep doing that. Which leads me back to the question that began this trip.
Why is the world so important?
The Earth has the habitats that provide all the different basic needs of people, plants, and animals. Water, sunlight, food, space, and shelter. We don't know one other place in the universe that does that. Plus, we're already here. How lucky is that? Wow, Earth. Now I know why you're so important to us. Thanks for watching Finding Stuff Out. See you next time. I'm gonna take good care of you. Ooh, that was a close one. Welcome to Finding Stuff Out. My name is Robot Harrison. Do you want some microchips? They are my favorite food. No? Too crunchy? That's okay. I will serve you your first question. It's from Theron.
When will I have my own personal robot?
When will you have your own personal robot? Well, Theron, your question made me realize I want one too. And guess what? We're not alone. Check out this old movie I found. This is Rollo the robot, and his master is asking him to make dinner.
Yes, ma'am. Rollo, get.
People have been dreaming of a humanoid robot servant for a really long time. One that could cook meals, answer the door, vacuum the floor, and lots more. So when is it really going to happen? That's a lot to ask from a robot. Is it possible? Maya had a good question about what robots can do.
Can a robot's brain store as much information as a human's brain?
To answer your question, Maya, I have a special guest. He's only 2 feet tall. Please welcome now 1337.
Greetings, Harrison. I'm here to help you do a good show.
Now, 1337, you're awesome.
Thanks, but I will not clean your room or do your homework.
As much as I'd like to own my own little Now 1337, I can't, because he's only available to scientists who do research on robots. Anyway, he's not really what I'm looking for, because he can't clean up my room.
I can pretend to clean your room.
He's pretending to be a vacuum. Okay, but what about Maya's question? She wants to know if a robot's brain can hold as much information as a human's brain.
Ask me any question.
Who invented the first robot?
Leonardo da Vinci invented the first humanoid robot 518 years ago.
Well, what about this? What's 2,048 billion divided by 512 billion?
The answer is 4.
How can he know all this stuff?
I have access to the internet just like any other computer. But I would love to be like Watson.
I know Watson.
Watson is a supercomputer. He can learn the equivalent of 1,000,000 books per second, and he can actually understand them. It's called artificial intelligence. He's unbeatable at chess, and he won at Jeopardy, a super hard game show. In the future, robots will be able to use all this power, so you might think that the answer to Maya's question is yes. And that now 1337 is smarter than me.
Affirmative.
Well, that's not true. Our brains can do things that robots can't. We have imagination. We can invent things, solve problems. We're creative. How would you plan a surprise party for your best friend?
Error. Does not compute.
Gotcha. Robots don't have an imagination, so they can't easily adapt to situations like we do. Like deciding this is a good time to answer Devontae's question.
Do robots work better than humans?
Well, yes, robots are much better than some humans are at some jobs because they never get tired. They repeat the same actions perfectly every time. They can work in dangerous conditions that humans would never want to be in. They don't need air. They never get bored by doing the same thing over and over again. And they never get distracted. Unless finding stuff out is on. Here's a question from Angela.
How many different kinds of shapes could a robot be?
They can be all kinds of shapes. Not all robots look like humans. Their shape depends on what they need to do. Robots make cars, food, and all kinds of things. Some robots help doctors do surgery. Others help soldiers carry out dangerous missions. Robots have been exploring Mars. Look, Mom, no hands. Some cars can even drive on their own. They're robots too. But how do you make them? He knows how to build robots and tear them apart. Please welcome robotics engineer, Carlos Asmat.
You want a robot? Well, here you go.
I think I need a robot to help me build one. Carlos built this one.
So, turns on, and can do cool things, like walking.
Whoa, it can go sideways too.
Mm-hmm.
So that's made with like the same parts that are here on this tray.
Exactly. So first we have the mechanical parts. You see, these are like our bones. Then we have the motors, and this is like our muscles. Then you have the battery. The battery is like the food you eat. And then we have one of the most important components, which is the robot's brain. So this is a microchip that has all the behaviors and all the knowledge the robot needs to move and to do interesting things.
So it's like the brain.
Yes, exactly. Cool. And the brain connects to sensors. For instance, this is an IR sensor. It's a bit like the robot's eye. So with all these parts, you can make any shape of robot you can imagine.
But what about a personal robot like I want?
Why don't you roll the video I brought you?
All right.
So you see there, the HRP4C looks like a human, can express emotions, and can move around quite quickly, but cannot do any tasks yet. Then you have the RP Vita, which is a telemedicine robot, which means it allows doctors to examine their patients at a distance, so they don't need to be there. Next, we have the RI Man and Reba, who can carry patients around.
Carlos says there are robots out there who can do amazing things, but they're built to do only one thing well. For a robot to do everything a human can do is nearly impossible.
So it's a big jump to teach them really useful tasks around the house.
Well, speaking of robots, here's a question from Evan.
Why do robots do whatever we want them to do?
To answer your question, they make robots do what they want. Let's hear it for the kids from Merton Elementary. These kids are robotics champions. Hey. Oh, can your robots clean my attic?
No. But we do have lots of fun with them.
All these robots are so cool, but how do you get them to do what you want them to?
Well, we use a special software that we connect by a USB from our brain to the computer.
Right.
So each icon that we use on the software itself is a movement. It'll be moving in a square pattern. So here, the first icon I have is motor B and C. I have it going straight at power level 50 for 1 rotation. Then the next icon I have is just motor B, so that will pivot.
Nice. Is it hard to program stuff like this?
Not really.
But it can get complex, right?
Yeah.
if you're doing more than just a square. So do you guys want to work with robots when you're older?
Well, I'm still debating between if I want to become a singer or if I still want to work with robots.
Well, you could sing and build robots and design singing robots.
Maybe.
I'd like to program robots when I'm older.
Unlike Josh, I want to build them.
Maybe he can program them and you'll build them for him.
Yeah.
I want to be a doctor when I'm older, but I know that robots will still be a part of my life because doctors use robots.
I want to be a robotics teacher when I'm older, so I'll still use robots.
I'm not sure if I want to do robots when I'm older, but I definitely want a robot.
Yeah. Me too. Anyway, check out these robot competitions these kids go to.
Norton Elementary, 1, 2, 3, go!
Kids from Merton Elementary have competed in Canada, the United States, and even Germany, and they've won tons of awards, including 3 times for overall best school. All over the world, there are more and more events where kids compete using robots they've built and programmed themselves. Making robots is becoming really cool. Listen to that crowd. Speaking of competitions, it's time for My Great Challenge! All right, so tell me about this challenge.
We program the robot so that it knocks out the red balls, which we call the cherries, out of the circle. If it knocks out any cups or it leaves the circle, it's out.
Right.
And whichever robot knocks out the most red balls wins.
So are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Alyssa, Noah, and Sabrina's robots not only recognize the red balls and know to push them off the red circle, but they also know to avoid objects like the cups and always stop when they reach the edge of the circle. The best programmed robot wins. All right. So how do you win this challenge?
So we programmed our robots to go up the ramp, and when it sees the white with this sensor, it will shoot the ball into the net.
Kavisha and Lewis have spent a lot of time getting their robots to release their catapult at just the right spot. Yes! Got another.
Yes!
Yeah! Looks like you both got a basket, so it's a tie.
Yeah.
All right, so how does this final challenge work?
Well, the robot has to follow the black line and go up the ramp. Then it has to save the monkey from the dinosaur.
Whoever does it faster wins, but if your robot gets off the line, you have to wait 5 seconds and then put it back on.
Joshua, you can go first, and go. The search and rescue challenge is hard because the robots have a long way to go through ramps, twists and turns, all by themselves with no help. Almost there. Oh, no! Ouch! All right, you did it in 50 seconds. Ben, you're up next. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go. Ben's robot is off to a great start. If he keeps it up, he could easily win. But wait, oh no. Something is malfunctioning. Ben's robot seems confused and stuck. Ben is helping it up. He gets a time penalty for that. And finally heads for the dangerous dino. Not again! Ouch! All right, Ben, your time was 1 minute plus 15 seconds because you had to pick up your robot 3 different times. And Josh, your time was 50 seconds, so you're the winner.
Yeah!
Thank you for playing My Great Challenge.
Thank you, Harrison.
Robots dance like this.
Let's do the robot. Let's do the robot. I am so flexible.
I am so rigid.
My moves are smooth.
My moves are choppy.
My skin is bouncy.
My shell is stiff.
I'm full of bones, organs, and water.
I'm full of plastic, metal, and microchips.
Loosen up.
Toughen up.
You're always trying to replace me.
You're always trying to control me.
Let's do the robot. Let's do the robot. So, Julia, robots move in mechanical ways because they're built with motors, plastics, and metals, unlike humans. Some scientists, though, are trying to create robots that look and feel exactly like humans. Check this one out. This is the Geminoid F robot, and the person it was based on. I don't know about you, but I find it kind of spooky. I thought I was the only one to feel that way, but it turns out most people feel the same. We like robots when they look funny like cartoons.
Like me. I am so cute.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. When robots look funny and cute, like Now 1337, we like them. We can even have feelings for them.
I love you, too.
Aww. But when robots actually start looking and acting like humans, we find it scary. Some scientists say that's a normal human reaction. Stefano had a question about that.
Can robots be dangerous and attack us?
The Flat Earth Corner! Over 200 years ago, Mary Shelley wrote a book about a scientist named Dr. Frankenstein, who created a human-like creature in his lab. Science has gone way too far this time. That's way out of line. Oh no, it's Dr. Frankenstein's monster! 100 years ago, Czech writer Karel Čapek invented the word robot, because in his language, robota means hard work. But in his book, one day, the robots don't want to just work for us anymore. They've decided to get rid of us and take over the world! Destroy mankind! Destroy mankind! People who wrote those stories had a lot of imagination, but their stories are all kind of the same. Good robots that turn evil. Even today, some people are scared of robots. They think they'll turn against them or something. But robots aren't good or bad. They're just things that we made. And it's up to us to tell them not to hurt people. Be good. Speaking of being good, here's a question from Vanessa.
How do robots help you in good ways?
Well, Vanessa, there's actually a whole bunch of new robots that help us around the house. A lot of people already have robot vacuum cleaners, or some that mop floors. How about a gutter cleaning robot? Or a pool cleaning robot? More and more service robots are invented every year. And here's the most useful service robot I know, and I'm here with its owner, Isabelle Ducharme.
Hi, Harrison. This is Backo. It's, to me, like a third arm. I have limited usage of my arm since an accident that happened a while ago. I'm brand new with it. I've only had it a few weeks, so I'm just learning all the things it can do with me. But among everything that it can do, I learned that I can now water my plant, which is something I couldn't do before.
All right. So you can control it just with that joystick, kind of like a video game.
Yes. Would you like to try it?
Really awesome, yeah.
Let's go.
When she was younger, Isabelle was unstoppable. She loved doing lots of stuff. After the accident, she wanted to stay the same. So she traveled all around the world and even went skydiving.
I always look for ways to be more independent, and Backo has changed my life for that. So you want to try and pour me a glass of water?
Sure, let me try to figure out how this thing works first here. So, okay. Okay, we have left. I'm used to joysticks, so I'm getting the hang of operating Backo right away. It's not gonna squish the bottle too hard though, is it?
No, it has sensors. It feels when it's grabbing onto something and it's gonna stop. You could grab an egg, or you could even grab a ceramic cup. It will work.
I'm not spilling this glass of water. No way. There we go.
Perfect.
Backo is much more than a remote control. It has brains and knows to never put you in danger or pinch you.
I also need a straw when I want to drink, so do you think you can grab that straw?
I'll try. Okay. There we go. There we go. And now I just have to drop it in. Boom. It's cool because the robot can like move so many different ways, so you have like every possible move that you want. Like you can just like switch it, and you got the wrist and the arm action and the fingers. It's awesome. Is it cold enough?
Couldn't have been better.
Nice.
Not only now can I drink on my own, but I can also grab things when I drop them on the floor. Before, if I dropped my phone on the floor, it stayed on the floor for the rest of the day. Now I can pick it up.
There are some people that can't move at all. Do you think robots will be able to help them one day?
There's actually some research done, and somebody managed to move Backo with their mind.
Whoa, mind control. Thanks for being on my show.
It's been fun, Harrison.
Robots can even shake hands. There's a lot of helpful robots out there, but they can only do one or two things. I want a robot that can do everything, just like this question that kicked off my show.
When will I have my own personal robot?
The big answer is... Unfortunately, we have to wait for the real deal.
This robot rock band is pretty cool, but all they do is play music and nothing else. Most robots are good at doing only one thing. But there is one robot I found that can be our own personal assistant, and that's PR2. A PR2 can neatly fold a towel, he can tie knots, that's really hard. He can go to the fridge and serve some drinks. Then he can play pool and even clean up dirty dishes. PR2 is the most advanced humanoid personal robot, but he costs more than a big house. He's clumsy and slow and really not ready for us.
How long do I have to wait?
Well, the good news is that there's a lot of good progress, and by the time the kids looking at this show will grow up and be adults, they'll probably have some pretty cool, useful robots around the house doing cool things.
Nice. But wait, for now, guess I have to clean up my own messes. Wait, robotic mind control. Robot Harrison, get in here. I need you to clean up the floor. Yeah, make sure to sweep it and also clean up my desk. And I also need water and a glass of milk and some cookies as well. Yes, master.
See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out.
I've been practicing karate because I had the same question as Joey.
How can you break things with a karate chop?
The short answer is not the way I did.
There I was, getting ready for the big break. I'm lucky I didn't break my hand.
And now I'm ready to try again. But I want to do things right this time. Maybe your questions will help me figure out how. And I promise by the end of the episode, you will see boards broken. Next question.
How do people break things?
How can you break things, Lily? Fall on them, bump them, crack them, hit them, step on them, pull them apart, crunch them with your teeth, throw them on the ground. So many ways. Uh-oh. Ah! You're gonna make my head explode. Making my head explode is another way to break things. Crash it, smash it, slash it, hash it. So many ways to make things break. Bash it, thrash it, gash it, dash it. Karate chops, big drops, or earthquakes. So many ways to make things break. Crush it, smush it. Easy does it! The surest way to break something in two is when you're trying very hard not to. Sorry. One of the most dramatic ways to break things is explosives. Check this out.
How do you break a rock?
Well, Sarah, to find out how we break rocks, I've come to a rock quarry. Here they take huge pieces of rock like this and break them up into gravel like this, which is used to build roads. And to show us around, here's Tony.
Harrison, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
What we're gonna do to break rocks is use explosives. Would you like to help?
Yeah, of course. Let's go.
do it, buddy. This is the area that we're gonna blast. We've got to drill approximately 80 holes.
They put the explosives deep in the ground because they break more rocks that way. If they were on top of the ground, most of their power would just go into the air.
Harrison, this is our rock drill. It's a D9 that we use to drill a 4-inch hole to set up explosives in. So I'd like you to get in and drill some holes.
So I'm gonna help you drill a hole?
You're gonna drill the hole.
Oh, sweet.
And she's running. Whoa. You're drilling a 4-inch hole 40 feet deep, so we can put the explosives in the ground a little later.
Right.
What we have here is a stick of 1.5 by 16 inches stick of nitroglycerin-based dynamite.
Dynamite?
Dynamite! In my hand here is what we call the detonator, the blasting cap.
The blasting cap goes inside the dynamite. It's kinda like a firecracker. We'll make a small explosion in the blasting cap that will set off a huge explosion in the dynamite. Are you sure it's safe that I'm holding this right now?
Well, it's very safe.
Okay.
When we put this cap in, there's a hole in the bottom. Stick it in.
Just like that?
Yes, sir. So what we're gonna get you to do is hold that like that.
So I can drop it in the hole?
Drop it in. All right, now we've got that. I'm gonna ask Dustin, who's the blaster in charge here.
Nice to meet you, Harrison.
Nice to meet you.
And he's gonna help us load this hole.
Seems like dynamite's not enough. We're gonna add this explosive powder on top of that to make a really big boom. So this is an explosive material?
Yes, it is.
Whoa.
Each one of these bags is about 25 kilograms.
Now we're gonna put the material around. This is called stemming.
So you just throw rocks in there?
Just keeps the power in the rock so that it breaks the rock.
Right.
So let's do the same thing over again over here.
After we get all 80 sticks of dynamite ready, it's time to blow up some rocks. Let's go set off some explosives.
All right, let's do it.
We use these wires to connect the 80 dynamite sticks to a battery. And last but not least, we've got to get to a safe spot.
We've moved back far enough from the explosion.
So now we gotta hook it up the wires to this thing?
You hold that. I'm gonna put the wires on for you right now.
Okay.
We'll give it a little wrap. Okay.
I'm honking the horn 12 times to warn everyone that a blast is coming. Watch out, everybody!
Scream it.
Blasting!
Fire.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh, good one!
What?
Awesome. Oh, you just set 10,000 pounds of explosive off, buddy.
Wow. That's crazy. Our explosion turned this into this. Hey, let's see that again. Wow, is that ever cool? When I slow it down, you can see the blasting caps going off, setting off the dynamite and releasing the hot gases that blow the rocks apart. Whoa, look, it's just a big pile of rocks now.
That is awesome.
But they're still too big to build roads with. What do we do now?
Crush them. This is the jaw crusher on the end that the wheel loader puts in and then puts it into the crusher. There's that big one coming in, and that rock will break into a 6-inch mine. Wow, that's exciting, you know. That even for me, I still get excited over it. So that there, that's our end product coming out of there.
Nice. This is used for like roads and stuff.
It is, road and construction.
Wow, well, I had a blast. Thanks so much for being on my show, Tony.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Why do different things break differently?
To help break down the answer, please welcome materials engineer, LV Dalgard.
Hey, Harrison.
Hey, so what does a materials engineer do?
Basically, I'm an expert on how stuff breaks.
Whoa, you get paid to break stuff? Cool. So Miles was wondering why different things break differently.
There's two main ways that things break. Ductile breaking, which is kind of stretching apart until it just pulls apart.
Like crazy putty.
Or there's brittle breaking, which is where things just snap apart, like this chocolate.
Or like the cracker, right?
Like the cracker, exactly. These balls are kind of somewhere in between, right? They're stretchy, but you couldn't really break them.
You can't crack them, can you?
Let's try. First, put your safety glasses on.
All right.
And we're gonna use this liquid nitrogen, which is really, really cold, 200 below zero.
200 below zero? That's more than freezing cold.
So we're gonna drop one of these balls in there.
Oh my
I'm gonna
gosh.
try to get it really nice and cold. All right, let's see if it's cold enough.
Normally, a hammer would just bounce off a rubber ball like this.
Ready?
Yeah.
Let's give this a try, right? 1, 2, 3.
Because it was frozen solid, the ball just cracked in half, like a cracker.
Well, Harrison, is there anything else you'd like to dip in liquid nitrogen and break today?
Would that work on one of these soft gummy candies?
Yeah, that's pretty stretchy, isn't it?
Look at this, look how far I can stretch it.
Let's see if it's gonna break.
It shattered like glass.
It shattered like glass.
I think I have another question. This one's from Cameron.
Why doesn't metal break easily?
Well, Cameron, I'll take that as a challenge. I'm gonna break a piece of metal with my bare hand. Hi, yes! Nice. Well, that was just a piece of aluminum foil. But how come some metals are so hard to break?
Well, the aluminum foil was easy because there's not very much metal to go through, and aluminum is not one of the hardest metals there is out there. Can you break this?
Okay, like this metal desk right in front of us?
Yeah, try that.
Let's try this.
Sorry.
Not really.
But how come?
This one's thicker, and it's also just a harder metal.
So sometimes you might think something made out of metal is strong, but it's not. Giuliano had a question about that.
Why did the Titanic sink if they said it was unsinkable?
The Flat Earth Corner!
Ahoy! This ship is unsinkable. It uses all the most advanced technology. I seem to have misplaced my binoculars. The captain asked me to watch out for icebergs. Oh well. This ship is unsinkable. Even if it did hit an iceberg, it would not sink. Whoa! People thought the Titanic was built to be unsinkable. No one would have ever thought it would fall apart the first time it sailed.
But when the ship hit an iceberg, it ripped open. Here's why. The ship was held together with rivets, short metal pins that connect the big pieces of steel. The Titanic's rivets were supposed to be made of super strong steel, but the shipbuilders ran out of it. So they used a kind of metal that unfortunately breaks when it gets cold. Remember how Elvie showed us that could happen? When the Titanic hit the iceberg, the rivets broke and water got into the ship. Luckily, today we have safety rules on how to build ships so that they don't fall apart like the Titanic. Now here's a question from Serena.
Why when you throw a plate on the floor, there's big pieces and there's little pieces?
Let's find out.
Wow.
Wow. Well, it certainly did break into different sizes of pieces.
I love breaking things, but how come some of the pieces are bigger than the others?
Well, that's the question. Plates are made out of clay, which is actually made out of lots of little particles. You can kind of see them there. And in between all those little particles are little cracks and little holes. It's actually kind of like these paper towels. See how there's a line of holes right along it?
Right.
If you were to break this, it would break along those holes. You really like to break stuff, don't you?
It's for science. Oh, can you stick around? We're gonna do some more breaking, experimenting later.
Sure.
Awesome.
Here's a question from Katrina.
Why do baseballs break windows?
I checked the answer, and the reason baseballs break windows is not just because you have bad aim when you throw. There's science involved. Let me show you on my Super Zoom-o-matic. Glass and everything else in our world is made up of tiny things called atoms, which can join to form molecules. Some molecules hold together very strongly, but some don't. To find out how it works, let's get some...
Street Smarts.
Do you guys want to be molecules? It's for science.
Yeah!
Okay, so link together like your molecules that are really tight together. All right, now pretend that I'm a baseball and I'm gonna try to break through you. So hard, so difficult. Okay, I can't do it. Okay, let's pretend your molecules that are really loose together. Okay, now I'm gonna be the baseball again. I'm gonna try to break through you this time. Oh, yes. That was really easy. That's just like one way that a baseball can break through glass. What I want to know is, have you ever broken anything? What is the worst thing that you have broke?
A lamp. A wall by slamming the door. All I did was open the door, then boom.
And the wall just like broke?
Yes. My sister's video game by breaking it in half.
Was she very happy?
No, she was really mad.
A flower pot. I was running and I hit it and it fell and broke.
My aunt's flower pot. I was taking something out of the microwave, then I banged myself into the plant, then I fell on the ground.
A picture frame by playing soccer in the house.
Why were you playing soccer in the house?
I don't know.
Were your parents mad?
Yeah.
If you want to learn how not to break things, it's time for My Great Challenge! My Great Challenge! Today, my challengers are Dahlia, Yusuf,
Hi.
Olivia,
Hey.
Erica,
Hi.
and Mateo.
Hi.
Today, your challenge is to try not to break an egg. Do you think you can do that?
Yeah.
All right, everybody take an egg. Now watch this. To prevent your little buddy from ending up like that, use the stuff in the bins. There are sponges, marshmallows, papers, string, all kinds of useful stuff. Do whatever you want to it to try to make it not break when it's dropped from all the way up there.
Oh my gosh!
You'll have 3 minutes to wrap up your egg. First of all, though, we're gonna get you to draw faces on your eggs, yes, with these markers, so that we all know whose egg is whose.
Mine is Humpty Dumpty. Here's Eggy. Here's Scrambled. Here's Shelly. Here's Commander Cody.
All right, you guys will have 3 minutes to protect your egg. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Get set, go!
Is there bubble wrap? Okay. Never mind.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, time's up. Okay, are you guys ready to see whose egg survives and whose turns into an omelet?
Yes.
All right, first one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Whoa. I think that one's mine.
Here's the second one.
It looks like an egg falling out of
It bounced that one. Okay, ready?
Mine came out.
Here we go. Ooh,
Oh God, yours
that sounded,
It bounced. Yeah. Mine bounced.
that sounded like a crack.
Omelet. It bounced.
All right, so go grab your eggs, and then I'll help you open them up and inspect them. Oh, I've got yolk.
I know. It's epic
So it's-
omelet.
Oh, it's definitely an omelet. There's yolk coming out of it. Bounced, eh? Okay, let's open this guy up. See how Humpty Dumpty's doing.
Humpty
Let's
Dumpty.
see, where is he? Yeah!
Humpty survived.
He's safe.
Oh, Humpty. Okay.
Scrambled, are you safe?
Scrambled is
Yes,
safe.
looks safe to me.
Scrambled safe.
Let's see. What is it, Commander Cody?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of sponges around the thing. That's probably why he bounced, eh?
Act like I told you.
He's safe. Commander Cody survived. Last but not least.
Okay.
There, Shelly. Shelly looks safe.
And I would tape.
Let's check. We gotta make sure.
Of
Yep,
course he's
Shelly's safe.
Shelly's safe.
So 4 out of 5 eggs are safe. Well, please welcome back Elvie. She's gonna explain why this happened.
So if you were gonna fall on the ground, would you rather land on a giant marshmallow or just on the ground?
Marshmallow.
Yeah, eggs too. If you squish a marshmallow, see how you can't really squish it fast. It kind of slows you down. And that's what happens with the egg too when the egg lands. So it spreads out the impact and it also cushions it so it doesn't land so fast. It slows it down. And that's what happened with your eggs. Good job.
Okay, so today we broke an egg, a plate, a rubber ball, and I've blown up rocks. But I still haven't figured out how to answer Joey's question.
How can you break things with a karate chop?
I'm gonna need a karate expert. Please welcome Henry Chibozo. Whoa.
Sensei! You're really good at karate. How long have you been doing this for?
Oh, long. I got my black belt when I was 16.
Whoa. Well, I've been doing a lot of breaking things around here today, but I think I'm gonna break a brick now with my hand.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Just watch me.
Harrison, it's not a real brick. It's styrofoam.
You got me. Well, when I was trying to break a board with my hand, I almost broke a bone.
First of all, you have to do it with someone who knows how to break a board. You have to have a strong mind, and you have to have a lot of practice.
Right, well, can you show me?
I'll show you how I break a boards. Boards, please.
Can you do more? Whoa.
3 boards, please.
3 boards? Whoa, 3 boards. Can you break a board with your foot now?
Of course. Can I have a board?
That was awesome!
Okay, I guess it's time to answer Joey's question.
How can you break things with a karate chop?
The big answer is...
You need a bunch of things working together just right. We saw today that even hard things can have weak spots. The pine wood that Henry broke has seams, sort of like the paper towels Elvie showed me. Those are its weak spots. Our hand bones are stronger, and the flesh around them cushions the blow. Sort of like the way marshmallows and sponges protected our challengers' eggs. So, when a karate master hits the wood's weak spot with just the right speed and power, the wood breaks. But it takes a lot of training.
Can you show me how to do that?
I'll show you a beginner's technique.
Oh, this can be today's.
Uh-oh. Do try this at home.
Breaking a board is for very advanced karate students. So today, we're gonna show you something that you can start training with.
We're gonna try today to do a kick. Go in position, like that, the left leg forward. Your knee go up, and you do a kick. I'm gonna show you first.
Okay.
Okay?
So, there and then.
Exactly.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
All right, I think I'm ready.
Good.
I can break a plank, right?
Yeah. Bring the special plank, please.
Oh, a baguette. Okay. Hi-ya! I did it!
Nice.
Thanks for helping me find stuff out. Stale baguette. That's like the hardest thing in the world.
Confession. I love peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Have you ever wondered what I'm wondering? How come if you put peanut butter on one slice and jam on the other, you open it up, peanut butter and jam are stuck on both slices of bread? Why do they stick together like that? In fact, have you ever wondered what Maya is wondering?
Why is there sticky stuff?
Well, Maya, I don't actually know why there's sticky stuff, but by the end of the show, I'll find out. And wearing this special suit, I will throw myself at the wall, which is made of this special sticky stuff, and see if I stick to it, just like my phone.
Who invented sticky stuff?
I checked, and humans made glue 70,000 years ago. Just like us, prehistoric people needed glue to help one thing stick to another. Ancient humans discovered that by mixing tree sap with other stuff, they could make a strong glue. Speaking about making glue, here's a question from Noam.
How do you make things stick?
To answer that, he knows all about stuff that sticks. He can glue a duck to a stick. Here's chemical engineer Phil Scriver.
Hi, Zoe.
Wow, you really can glue a duck to a stick. Will you stick around to help me answer some questions about glue?
I was talking to Phil.
So, to answer Noam's question, how do you make stuff stick?
The first thing you really have to do is pick the right type of glue. There's a lot of different things in the world that stick, and that's because at a very small level, things aren't really flat. They actually have little branches off them, and those things stick to each other when they come in contact. Do you think that water is very sticky?
I don't think so.
It doesn't seem like it's very sticky, but when you think about getting out of a swimming pool, you have water stuck all over your arms. Let's try it with these discs. Let's put a few drops of water on there. So do we think that's gonna stick to each other?
No.
I'm just holding on to the very top one.
Whoa,
and it's stuck.
That's crazy.
So the water likes to stick to the two plastic discs, but it doesn't stick to itself very well, so it'll slide down. How about some jam?
Sure.
So in jam, you have a lot of sugars in there, and sugar has a lot of different branches on it, and those branches can cling onto things and make it very sticky.
Whoa.
It sticks that way. What about sideways? Do you think it's gonna drop right away?
No.
It's starting to drop a little bit, but it's much stronger than water. Now, can you pull it apart?
Let me see. Yeah.
So it does a good job of sticking to the plastic, but again, it's not sticking to itself very well. And that's really what makes a good glue, is not only does it stick to what you're putting together, but it needs to stick to itself.
Now for some real glue.
It takes about 10 minutes for it to fully dry.
Oh, that's really stuck together.
Okay, this is nothing like what happened to the water.
This glue sticks to the plastic and to itself. The water stuck to the plastic, but not to itself.
This is a giant Post-it note.
Wow.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put the adhesive of one Post-it note, which is here, and we're gonna stick another one to it to see how strong it is. We'll give you some gloves to make sure that you don't get any paper cuts.
Oh, wow, that is hard. Hey!
You see, the paper broke before the glue separated from itself. That shows you how strong it can be.
Phil says the sticky note is full of bubbles, so it's easy to peel off because the bubbles only touch a small area. Join two sticky notes together, and they're still easy to peel off. But if you pull on them, the bubbles get locked together, making the bond super strong. Try it at home.
Oh, I ripped the paper again.
But again, if we peel it in the other direction, it comes off.
Wow. Thanks for being on my show and helping me find stuff out.
You're welcome.
I'm sure my viewers were glued to their televisions watching.
It's amazing that there are so many types of sticky things. But what's even more amazing is that it wasn't actually people who invented the first sticky thing. Bees make honey, and you know how sticky that is. Frogs, salamanders, and chameleons all have long tongues covered in a layer of mucus. That's sort of like snot. Blech.
Oh.
And I found out that the mucus is sticky, but not sticky enough to actually hold the prey. See? So the tongue takes the shape of a suction pad just before it catches its prey. The sticky mucus helps create a seal so it can catch its prey. Ta-da!
Oh.
But there are other animals that make sticky stuff too. Here's a question from Eli.
How come a spider doesn't stick to its web?
I checked, and the answer is pretty amazing. Spiders make a glue-like material that's stretchy and sticky. So when a bug flies into the spider's web, it gets stuck and can't escape. But spiders can walk on it quickly because their hairy feet keep them from sticking. Spiders also build resting places without the glue, so they don't get stuck. Smart. But some animals do the opposite. They want to stick to things. I found out that lizards called geckos can stick to walls and even hang upside down because their toes are covered with millions of tiny hairs that use very small electrical forces to stick to almost anything. And now, here's another sticky question.
Why do magnets stick to fridges?
Well, Anea, I checked, and here's what I found. Magnetism is an invisible force. It's not sticky like glue or honey, but it can make certain things stick to each other, like this. I'm trying out this magnet on different kinds of things. And as you can see, it only sticks to some of them. That's because magnets only stick to things made from the minerals iron, nickel, or cobalt. Let me show you with my Super Zoom-O-Matic. Magnets create an invisible magnetic field around themselves that attracts those minerals. Just like this bucket, a refrigerator is made of metal. And some of the metal is iron. And this invisible magnetic energy field is attracted to iron. And that gives me an idea for...
My Great Challenge! Today's challengers are Bleach from Team Spider.
Hey. Team Spider!
And Coyote, your Team Gecko.
Woohoo! Team Gecko!
Both of you have the same number of mascots.
Some can be small and heavy, others big and light.
Your challenge is to stick your mascots to the wall panels using the magnets on your table. But here's the catch. Some of the small magnets can be stickier than the big ones, and some parts of the walls can respond to magnets more than others. Ready?
Yeah.
All right, go.
Team Spider picks a big magnet and a big spider, and it sticks.
Got it.
Team Gecko sticks a small gecko. Spider doesn't want to stick.
Oh man, it's so hard.
But neither does that gecko. Team Gecko trying a smaller but stronger magnet.
Some of these magnets don't work for the other ones.
That's right. Not every magnet is strong enough to hold up every creature. That one sticks. Good, Gecko.
Team Gecko has 2 right now.
Gecko trying a large magnet. Gets number 3. There's 4. Team Spider gets her second.
You're going down, Belize.
Go, Team Spider! Spider chooses a big magnet, looking for the sticky spot. Yes. Are Gecko's feet sticky? Yes. Team Spider with one that is just too heavy for the magnet she chose. She's trying a smaller but stronger magnet. Small magnet, large spider. That worked. Small magnet, small but heavy gecko. And Spider doesn't want to stick. But Gecko does.
Last one. Done.
Team Gecko, you win.
Woo!
So what was the trickiest part?
Some of the small magnets were really tricky because I thought they would be not as sticky, so I'd put them with the smaller ones, but then they would stick really hard and I wouldn't have any really sticky ones for the big ones and they would all fall.
The hardest part was finding which ones stick with which and where does it go.
Well, challengers, thanks for being on my show. Now here's a question from Noah.
Is it possible to make glue with ordinary stuff?
Do try this at home. My friends Christopher and Alyssa are gonna find out. They're trying a really simple experiment with just 2 ingredients, flour and water. Mix them together and you've got glue, which you can use for paper mache. It's great for making stuff. But now, Sienna and Spencer are gonna make an even stronger glue. First, mix some vinegar and milk together, filter the liquid out, and you're left with curds. Mix in some baking soda and a bit of water, and you get a pretty strong glue.
I think it's ready.
Bye, Zoe.
Bye. It works. Now, here's a sticky question from Anthony.
Is it true that they use glue to make big airplanes?
Glue to make airplanes? I don't know about that. I wonder what other kids think.
Ask a friend. Glue is not the strongest thing that you could use to build an airplane.
It would just crash, it would break. It would fall onto the ground, it wouldn't have enough strength.
What if it starts raining? It's gonna get so wet, it's just gonna fall off and the plane's gonna fall apart.
It'll crash and fall, and
that would be a bad experience for a plane. Guess what? I found out that they do use glue to make airplanes. And not just for toy planes like this one. Real jet airplanes, flying faster than the speed of sound. Thousands of meters in the air. How is that possible?
Head getting warm, brain swirling with synapses as strong as G-forces. Starting to come unglued! You're gonna make my head explode!
How is it possible to use glue to make an airplane? To find out how it's possible, I came here to the National Research Council's Flight Research Lab. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Zoe.
So, what do you do here?
I'm an engineer working on aerospace materials and structures.
Lucy tells me that materials used in airplanes have to be very strong and very light. Why would anyone use glue to make a real airplane?
Take a look at this plane. What do you see here?
I see screws, and what are those bumps called?
Rivets. What do they do?
It looks like they're holding the parts of the plane together.
Yes, they add a lot of weight, and also at the same time, the rivets that are poking out from the surface add a lot of resistance for airplane to move forward.
Lucy tells me that because the rivets stick out, they drag through the air and slow the plane down. So what's this about glue? Why is it better?
Let me show you. Take a look at this airplane. This airplane is made out of composite materials.
So what are composite materials? Lucy says it's fibers held together with glue. Composite materials are really strong and much lighter than metals used in older airplanes. Glue is also used to hold composite parts together in newer planes.
Now, what do you see on the surface of the skin? Nothing. Do you see any rivets?
No. So this airplane is made and held together with glue?
Yes, it's a much lighter structure, and without the rivets, there's less resistance for the airplane to take off and to fly faster.
Airplanes made with glue really won't fall apart?
Let's do some experiments to prove it, but we'll need some help.
Hi! Oh, it's Lucy's son, Alan.
And we're at National Research Council Canada. We make stuff and we break stuff.
It's pretty amazing.
Today, I have a set of experiments to prove glue is strong enough to hold an airplane together. Okay, let's put on safety glasses. Those are the stuff we're gonna use for our experiments today. They're real materials that real airplanes are made out of. And today, we're going to glue those pieces together the way we glue real airplanes together.
This kind of special glue is red, and it comes in sheets packed in white paper. We pull one piece of paper off and put the glue on the part.
Don't worry if it's not perfect, you can always move it a little bit.
Then we take off the other sheet of paper and put the other part on what we want to glue. Then everything goes on this tray, but it's not sticking yet.
Now we're going to cook it.
What is this anyways?
This is called an autoclave. It is the biggest oven you've ever seen.
This oven is gonna make the glue really hard and strong. And this is the machine Lucy uses to test parts. It pulls on them until they break. That's how we can tell how strong something is. Oh, our part's ready to test. Let's try it out.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay, we've got the part in the high-tech destruction machine, and we're turning it on.
This one will be different.
Nothing's happening.
Yes. And get ready for action. Hear sound? That means something is possibly something is breaking. Wow! Whoa! Did you hear that?
Still nothing's happening.
Make sure airplanes are super safe. Whoa, look at that.
Mama, something
Look
shooted.
at that.
Something shooted outside. That's so cool.
Yeah, so you see where it broke?
Yeah.
It broke somewhere near the wing.
So the part broke, but the glue didn't?
That's correct. So the glue is strong enough to hold the airplane together.
It shows how strong glue can be. All right, let's see how well glue really holds this plane together. Woohoo! So far, we've seen sticky things that we humans have made on purpose. But we make other sticky stuff, whether we want to or not, as this question from Alessandro points out.
Why is snot sticky? Ew.
Flat Earth Corner! Ugh, snot! Why it's not sticky? Well, here in ancient Greece, We're not actually sure why yet. But we doctors do know what snot does. It sends vapors to your brain that make you sluggish and lazy. Ah, my peanut butter sandwich. I feel a little bit tired. Ew. Maybe someone mixed snot in the peanut butter. It's so good though. Nowadays, scientists know that mucus does not create gases that make you tired and go into your brain. It's actually there to protect the sensitive insides of your body from stuff like germs and dust. That's why it's sticky. Things stick to the mucus and don't get in your body. And that gives me an idea for a song. Some people think that snot is icky. There's a reason that it's sticky. 'Cause germs and pollen, sand and dirt should not be up where they cause hurt. So if someone tells you snot is sticky, tell them it's supposed to be sticky. And they might like to think it's gross, but it's not. It's not! It's not! It's not! Boy, what a difference an S makes. Snot! Things that feel sticky aren't the only things that stick, though. Remember those magnets? And what about this sticky stuff?
Why does this stuff stick together?
To help me find out, Julie Berry is here from Velcro Companies, which makes the original hook and loop product that keeps our clothes and shoes on. Welcome.
Thanks, it's great to be here.
So, what are these products and how'd they get invented?
In the 1950s, there was a Swiss inventor named George de Mestral who happened to take his dog for a walk in the woods. And as he was walking his dog, these little burrs started to stick to the dog's fur. And so he pulled them out and noticed that they had these strange hooks on them, and it was the hooks that was grasping the dog's fur, and he had an idea to create a product. These straps are made up of two sides. So you have a very soft, fuzzy side. We call that the loop. And the side that sticks to the loop are hooks. And if you look at them very close under a microscope, you'll see thousands of tiny, tiny hooks that are able to grab the soft part of the product.
I think the time has come for me to try it out. Are you sure this will work?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, then don't try this at home. Here we go. This is incredible! Thanks for being on Finding Stuff Out and making the student wall for me.
Thanks for having me. I hope you had fun.
I had so much fun.
Awesome.
Bye.
Bye.
And that takes us back to the question that started this sticky odyssey.
Why is there sticky stuff?
Well, Maya, the big answer is, in order to survive, certain living things use stuff to stick to other stuff. Some animals need sticky stuff so they can catch their prey. Plants have sticky pollen so that insects can carry it and help them reproduce. Our body makes sticky stuff to stop germs and dust from getting inside. And we've invented sticky stuff to do all kinds of jobs. Yeehaw! Wow, this is really sticky. Julie, still there? Mom, Dad, can somebody get me off this wall? Well, there's no point of you sticking around. See you next time for more Finding Stuff Out. Man, I wish I had a peanut butter sandwich.